Hello everyone and welcome to the coding branch. Today we'll be going over the most commonly used tags in HTML. Let's not waste any time and get into it. Starting with imports, we'll get our style sheet linked to our page by adding a link tag that is linked to our style sheet by setting the href attribute. The next thing we'll import is our JavaScript file. We'll achieve this by adding a script tag with a source attribute that links to the JavaScript file. Moving on to the body, we'll get started with one of the most commonly used HTML tags. That is the div tag. A div tag defines a new section of the web page. Another way to think of it is sort of as a container. You can put anything you want in a div, so we'll put our entire website in this example. Now, I'm going to add a header tag to the page. Headers range from an H1 to an H6. H1 being the largest in font size, H6 being the smallest. The largest header will be the most emphasized content, so keep in mind where you want to draw the user's attention. A header is usually followed by some sort of content. Oftentimes it is followed by a paragraph tag. A paragraph tag is a tag that shows text. Fairly straightforward. One thing to know about paragraph tags though is that they always start a new line in your document. If you want to write something in line with another element, use something called a span. That encapsulates the content that you want within that other element. Next, we'll get started with lists, which in HTML are very easy to grasp. There are ordered lists and unordered lists. Ordered lists are numbered and unordered lists are not. As you can see, the tag used for ordered lists is OL and unordered lists is UL. In order to have a complete list, you'll need list items, which is created by using the LI tag. Each list item tag is another entry in the list. Alright, well, text is getting boring, so let's get on to image tags, which abbreviated is IMG. That is how you create the tag, which makes it very easy to remember. The new thing though about it compared to the rest is that it has a self-closing tag, meaning the tag ends with a /. Now the document is wondering what type of image you want to display, so you'll have to tell it by setting the source attribute. This can be a link to something on the interwebs, or it can be a link to an image on your computer. Your link must be in quotes, but if you start with a period /, you can look through your current directory for the image you want. The next part you see here is called an alt, which is an alternate text for the image. It is very important you set this to what best describes the image. It is used for users who can't load the image or are visually impaired. While we're on the topic of self-closing tags, I'm going to use the break tag here to bring me to the next line in the document where we'll create an anchor tag. An anchor tag is best known as a hyperlink for non-programmer. In order to create an anchor tag, we'll need a link and a title. The href attribute sets what you're linked to, and you can write the title for your link in between the anchor tags. Alright, let's finally get into user input, shall we? Though it's not required, it's best practice to add user input in a form. The reason is because a form is generally used to send the data to your server. To start our form, we'll add a title, which will be an H3. Now we'll tell the user what kind of data we want them to write in, so we'll create a label for it. And finally, the text box will be created by using an input tag with a type of text. If you want to have some default text in the input field, you'll add a placeholder. If the information the user types shouldn't be seen by anyone standing around them, give it a type of password. Now, you're as secure as Fort Knox. Say you want the user to be able to type multiple lines of text. For this, you'll use a text area element. You do have to set the initial size, though the user can drag it to be as big as they want. We can also create a checkbox so we can ask the user yes or no question. This one is very similar to the text and password input fields. You just have to change the type to checkbox. In order to submit our form, we need a submit button, which is one I don't think you'll ever forget. Very simply, enclose the name of your button in between two button tags. Usually this would call a function to submit the form, but we're just showing you an example here. Finally, the last common tag I can think of is a footer, which is usually located at the bottom of the page and will contain copyright information. Now that's going to wrap it up for the most common HTML tags. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoy this type of shorthanded content, leave a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe on the way out.